Hey, what's up guys, it's KXF and welcome back to another video. So today, I'm going to be doing my promised keyboard comparison video between the Razer Blackwidow Chroma V2 and the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum. In today's video, I want to go over all the similarities and differences between the two keyboards to help you make a better purchase. So just a heads up, I won't be choosing a clear winner or anything. But before we actually get started, if you want to join our official channel Discord server, go ahead and do that by clicking the link down in the description below. And without a doubt, let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with the Razer Blackwidow Chroma V2, it's a full-size mechanical keyboard with 5 extra dedicated macro keys on the side of it. V2 has a high-quality plastic constructed top plate and is surprisingly quite heavy in terms of weight. The indicators are right above the numpad and they take quite a lot of space. So I'd much rather prefer that area to have some dedicated multimedia keys. Instead, those functions can be accessed via holding the function key, or FN, and then pressing F5, F6, or F7 at the same time. The Blackwidow Chroma V2 also has onboard macro recording, which can be done by hitting FN and F9. As you see, all the LEDs on the keyboard turn off, and in the top right corner, an indicator for macro recording turns on, letting you know that's activated. And to simply deactivate it, you hit escape. This keyboard also features a thing called gaming mode, which disables Windows and other keyboard shortcuts like Alt-Tab or Alt-F4, so don't accidentally hit those while you're gaming and potentially ruin your gaming experience. And to activate that, you just hit FN and F10. On the right side of the keyboard is a USB pass-through and a 3.5mm audio pass-through, which in my opinion are features that a gaming keyboard must include. And then flipping the keyboard over to its underside, you got 5 small rubber pads to prevent the keyboard from slipping around on your desk, as well as 2 flip-out rubber feet for elevating the board itself, which aren't rubberized for some apparent reason. Switching over to the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum, it's also a full-size mechanical keyboard, but it's got 6 dedicated macro keys, and the keycaps for those are contoured, textured, and gray in color. The K95 Platinum also has an aircraft-grade anodized brushed aluminum top plate, which looks pretty sick, but because of the fine grooves, it's going to be a bit of a pain to clean out the dust that settles within them. And right above the first 4 F keys are 3 buttons to switch between profiles, toggle brightness, and turn off or on gaming mode, respectively. The indicators on this keyboard are just simply 3 white dots, and they don't take up a lot of space, which leaves room for some dedicated multimedia keys, as well as a metal volume scroll wheel and a mute button. And just to add some extra flair to it, a 19-zone RGB LED strip wraps around the entire backside of the keyboard. Right under the light strip is a USB pass-through port, but no audio pass-through this time. And then underneath the Platinum is a cross-channel for cable routing, as you see right here, and then 4 large rubber pads with 2 rubberized feet for the elevation of the board itself. In my opinion, both these keyboards have a very nice aesthetic to them, with each one having their own unique look. Both also have an illuminated RGB logo, with Razer's being at the bottom of the keyboard and Corsair's being at the top. The choice of the keycap font for the V2 and the K95 is also worth mentioning. Razer's got that standard minimalistic font that everyone's used to, while Corsair's got that super gamery looking font. I know that most people like the look of the simplistic font more, but me personally, I prefer the big and bulky font that Corsair uses. Both the Platinum and the Blackwidow also use a high quality ABS plastic material to construct their keycaps. Corsair also has a textured spacebar, which I don't particularly like, but after using it for a while, it's not as bad anymore. Another thing included with the K95 Platinum, which you won't find on the other keyboard, is a plastic little keycap holder thingy, and 2 sets of textured and contoured gray keycaps. 1 WASD set for your FPS games, and 1 QWERDF set for your MOBA games. I don't use them myself, but it's definitely a welcomed addition. The secondary characters on the Blackwidow also aren't illuminated for some odd reason, and it can be sort of annoying when you're working in the dark as you don't know which secondary character is on which keycap. The stabilizers that Razer uses for the larger keys are called Corsair stabilizers, and they feel much better than the cherry style stabilizers that Corsair uses, as they don't feel as mushy and don't sound as rattly. However, the downside about Corsair is that if you're trying to replace a keycap, it'll be much more difficult to execute than with cherries. As you can see here, the underside of the backspace key on the Blackwidow has 2 little plastic clips which you have to align to the stabilizers. The plastic clips are not present on the backspace key of the K95 as they are cherry style stabilizers. Both keyboards include wrist rests, with the K95 Platinum as being a piece of magnetic dual-sided rubber with one side either more textured and another less textured, which attaches onto the keyboard via these two clips. The wrist rest of the Blackwidow V2, on the other hand, is made out of soft memory foam covered with some leather red and attaches magnetically, which will however cover up the Razer logo. And then we have the mechanical key switches that lie underneath the keycap. With the K95 Platinum, you get a choice between either the tactile and quiet Cherry MX brown switches or the linear and fast Cherry MX speed switches. The Blackwidow V2 on the other hand has 3 switch options, including the tactile and clicky Razer green switches, the tactile and quiet Razer orange switches, or the linear and fast Razer yellow switches, which actually rival the Cherry MX speed switches. Do note that if you're looking at these two keyboards and you want a clicky switch, the V2 will be the only option. Razer went from kale to Tech to manufacture the switches a few years ago, so they've definitely improved a bit. However, I'm quite certain that genuine German quality from Cherry can still beat Chinese manufacturing. And now here's a quick sound test between the Razer Blackwidow Chroma V2 with the Razer green switches and the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum with the Cherry MX brown switches. Finally, let's talk about the RGB lighting. Both the K95 RGB Platinum and the Blackwidow Chroma V2 are capable of displaying the entire color spectrum of 16.8 million colors, and each light module can be individually addressed as well. As you can see, both of these keyboards offer a ton of preset RGB lighting effects, and you can even go as far as downloading custom ones made by others, or even making your own RGB lighting effects. And as for software, Razer uses Synapse 3, which is relatively user-friendly, but one con about it is that it requires you to create an account and sign in to actually mess with the RGB lights and assign macros. Corsair's IQ, on the other hand, doesn't require any sort of signing in, but it's a tad bit more complex to use. When I first started using IQ, it was really kind of confusing for me, but once I figured out how everything worked, it was just a piece of cake. Razer's lights are also obviously brighter than Corsair's, partially because of the white backplate underneath the keycaps, which reflects the light back up to the user. Corsair only has 3 levels of brightness, but I think maybe 2 more to a total of 5 levels would be a lot better. And with the fact that there isn't a white backplate beneath the keycaps, it's definitely not as bright as that of Razer's. So even though Razer's LEDs are brighter, Corsair's RGB still has more hue and richness from my perspective. Now let's talk pricing. When the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum first launched, it was $200, while the Razer Blackwidow Chroma V2 was $170. The Blackwidow, however, isn't being sold by Amazon themselves anymore, so the only way to get it is from buying it off from third-party sellers, meaning that some of the prices might actually be higher than its original launch price. My unit I got off of Amazon last year when it was still being sold by them for $130. The K95 Platinum I bought off of Newegg for $160, and I also received a free code for Tom Clancy's The Division 2, which were normally running about $60. To sum it up in a nutshell, the V2 and the K95 are both solid options if you're looking at getting a keyboard. The K95 has German-made Cherry switches. The V2 has Chinese knockoff switches. The K95 has dedicated multimedia keys. The V2 does not. The K95 has a brushed aluminum top plate. The V2 has plastic. The K95 has an okay wrist rest. The V2 has a god tier wrist rest. Both have macro keys as well as softwares to customize the lighting effects and whatnot. The V2 has brighter LEDs, the K95 has richer LEDs. Again, not choosing a clear winner or anything between the two, so the choice will be up to you to pick whichever one you want. You decide which features of each keyboard will be the best for you, or whichever one's in your budget. Anyway, that'll conclude my comparison between the Razer Blackwidow Chroma V2 and the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up to show your support, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. I'm KingXF, and I'll see y'all next time.